Game number 2, live odds, sportsbookreview.com. What a matchup here. 4 o'clock Pacific, ESPN2. Kansas in Morgantown to take on West Virginia. Number 2 against number 18, depends what poll you look at. But West Virginia's 4.5. 161.5 the total. Facing West Virginia in Morgantown. With that crowd and with their depth, could be the toughest assignment in all of college basketball, Teddy.
Yeah, depending on what poll you look at. Here, I'll give you a hint. Don't look at any polls, ever.
Yeah.
All right. I have not looked at a college basketball poll this year. I won't. It will do nothing for your handicap. I'll just put it to you that way. Sometimes you can make money betting against teams that haven't been ranked, that just suddenly got ranked for the first time. That can be a good thing. Or a team that's not used to being number one. Remember when Baylor was number one for one game? Actually, for a week, because it was the first game. But when they went to West Virginia, it didn't work out well for them. But, you talk about this being one of the toughest matchups in the nation this year because of that Mountaineer depth and crowd. I think one of the toughest things in the nation would have been the West Virginia players going into practice and having to face Bob Huggins off of back-to-back losses. They had a rough week last week, but we are talking about the number one defense in the country at forcing turnovers. 31% of all opposing possessions end up in turnovers. They're number one in the nation at coming up with steals. 16% of the time that opponents have the ball, it gets stolen. Again, 10 players in their rotation, so the defense never lets up. They're always fresh. But one thing we worry about in this point spread range, Paulie, the Mountaineers don't make free throws. Just 65% from the charity stripe. That's key in this spread range. Just number 295 in the nation at converting from the charity stripe.
Yeah, no kidding, because we'll talk about Notre Dame coming up. I don't understand it. I mean, you put a gun to my head, I'll have problems running 2 miles. But I can go out without practicing and knock down 7 of 10 from the free throw line. I was in a Knights of Columbus contest years ago. I got the trophy to prove it. Well, years ago, I was actually like 14. But in any event.
I'm taking the under, Paulie. I'm taking under 7 out of 10 for you. First try.
Bullshit.
I'm taking the under. Just tell me what I'm taking.
It's easy. It's practice and concentration. How are you 65% from the line? That's embarrassing.
That's a team.
That's a team. I can't believe it. All right. Hell of a game, though. What do you think here in terms of, look at the total, Teddy. I mean, you expect a frenetic pace here?
Well, I mean, look, Kansas, they're 0-3 straight up and 0-3 against the spread here in the last 3 seasons. They have a senior point guard in Frank Mason, but he's got 88 minutes on the floor, and they've lost to the spread by 25.5 points in those minutes. They lost by double digits here last year. They got revenge, winning at home in the rematch. Both of those games staying under the total. And the conventional wisdom, of course, the senior point guard is going to be good versus the press. I wonder if this is a little bit different. Mason, 7 turnovers versus only 2 assists here last year. And he's also the Jayhawks' leading scorer. The guy scores more than 20 points per game. I wonder if having to deal with the press is going to take away from his shooting, because he's been shooting lights out all season. 52% from the field, 54% from three-point range. That almost never happens for a point guard.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.